Watching Twisters was an experience, and this is that kind of a movie which is meant to be experienced on the big screen. The first half of the movie is really charming. It's full of charm, it's full of characters which brings in charm, but the second half of the movie is where the things get really interesting and thrilling, because in the second half there's this gigantic climax which is worth watching. And there's this thing about this climax that there's sometimes you just know that these are the set of characters which can't die at the end. Even after that, if the director is able to make you feel the thrill of that moment, if he's able to make you care for that characters even more to the point that they can die even though you know that they can't die. I mean, if that happens, the director is the winner over here. And yeah, that's the case with this movie as well. If I talk about the first half of the movie, the first half, as I said, is all of charm. It's filled with charm, but it also gives you the thrill of some of the tornado chasing, and that is aided with that really great opening of the movie. You can say it definitely plants a few things which are definitely going to be paid off at the end of the movie, but that opening scene itself keeps you hooked and just makes you know that how good this movie actually promises to be in terms of all that tornado chasing, all that science around that tornado, but most importantly how devastating it is to face a tornado, to lose lives in the tornado. And that actually plants a seed of that redemption arc as well for a few characters. Not redemption, but more of that getting over guilt and just doing what you are supposed to do despite having that dreadful backstory. Now if I talk about the lead of the movie, it's definitely Daisy Edgar Jones. Now a lot of people may assume that Glen Powell is the star of this movie. Yeah, he is, but the main story of this movie follows and starts off and ends with the character of Daisy Edgar Jones, and she really shines throughout this movie because there are some very dreadful scenes, as I mentioned, and a lot of them happens at the start, and she's very good in those, and she's also very good later on, and her chemistry with Glen Powell actually works. But now if I talk about Glen Powell plays a cowboy YouTube channel guy with a team of tornado chasers, and they are wild. They are really wild. They are not afraid of the tornado, and they are borderline crazy because they just go inside of the tornado and blast fireworks. And their entry scene is also pretty well crafted with all that music. The moment that they are introduced, you immediately feel like, now these are supposed to be the bad guys. But even then you can sense that there's more to their characters. There's really a lot of depth to their characters. You just sense that they are not just here for the fun of it. They are not just here for the fun of chasing the tornado and just putting it on their YouTube channel. They are not here for that. They are here for that as well, obviously, but there's more to their characters, as I said. Now let's talk about the chemistry. Now the one thing that was really good about that chemistry was that the chemistry is there. It's being a good arc for both of them, but that doesn't move away from the story of the tornado, about catching the tornado and whatever they wanted to do with the tornado. I won't get into the details of it, but as I said, the good thing about that chemistry was that it worked because they were in it for the tornado, for chasing the tornado or for taming the tornado. And in the first half as well, there are a lot of back and forth between both of the characters, and it works. It puts a smile on your face. But there was again one thing that they did good, and which included the devastating nature of being hit by a tornado. Imagine a town is struck by a tornado and the entire existence of that town is just washed away. It's just a matter of minutes and that's it. Imagine how devastating that could be. But the thing that they just eluded in this movie, which was about how people with money can actually exploit these people who almost lost everything, who almost lost their loved ones, their family, their homes, their businesses, everything, their existence. But even then, there are a few people with a lot of money who just buys off their land at a cheaper price or something like that. So I thought that there was a lot of room to explore that as well, but I guess the movie just alluded to that fact. Now if I talk about the tornadoes and how the tornadoes were actually shown, there is not just one tornado chasing scene. There are a couple of those. There are more than a couple of those in fact, and not all of them are really threatening, but you just feel the anxiety between the characters because of a certain backstory and all those things. But you can feel the anxiety, and you can definitely feel the hesitation why that those characters are really not going through with whatever they are trying to do with that tornado catch. But the best tornado scene is definitely saved for the climax. But now time to talk about the best thing about the movie, and that is the climax. As I said at the start of this video, there are a few movies in which you know that okay, these are a set of characters which are not going to die, but still the director makes you feel, really makes you feel scared for them, really makes you feel for them that they may die. And that is when the director actually wins. And as I said before, this movie delivers that. The climax is big, the climax is gigantic, the climax is thrilling, the climax is devastating. The climax is good, man. So overall, Twisters is a movie full of charm. It delivers a great final act in this movie, and overall it's just a movie that you should experience on the big screen.